Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Black Panther. Hey auntie, hey. It's crazy because I know that Killmonger has like these amazing lines in this movie, but for some reason, hey auntie is like the one thing that just sticks with me. I don't know what it is.
The revolution will be live.
So overall, what was I expecting from this movie? 1, I know that it's an MCU movie. 2, I know it's directed by Ryan Coogler. And 3, I know that it stars Chadwick Boseman, who has the best African accent made by an American.
Wherever you walk far, tell them this was a message from the king.
Where is my sister? Don't tell me you guys have never seen that movie, Message from a King. It's really, really good. And it's another movie where Chadwick Boseman is he's a different type of fighting African, but he kicks ass. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. With those 3 components, this movie should rock. I love all the other MCU movies. I think they're so much fun. Currently, Captain America is my favorite MCU character just because he kind of reminds me of Superman. Or Clark Kent is my favorite DC superhero, and I love that he's a goody two-shoes. Some people find that boring, but like, you know, there's nothing wrong with a good guy. And then Ryan Coogler, I've seen all of his movies, and I mean, it's only 3, but I've seen Fruitvale Station. I watched it because so many people were raving about it years ago. I checked it out. Excellent. And of course, Creed was fantastic. I knew that when he paired with Michael B. Jordan, it was gonna be gold. And then again, Chadwick Boseman is such a good actor. I was going into this with very high expectations, and then plus all the hype. I mean, the hype is okay. I know as a black person that I'm supposed to be like, T'Challa, but it's like just an MCU movie for me. Whenever I go into MCU movies, I try not to overhype, because then when you overhype something, it's like you go into the movie and you have too high of expectations, then it's like only okay and not great, and I didn't want that to happen. What makes this movie interesting is because you have Wakanda, who, you know, normally in our world, according to our president, countries like Wakanda would be considered a shithole. It's a shithole country. But that's what makes it so cool, because it's like this secret place that's way more advanced than we can even think of. And it's about Black Panther, about T'Challa protecting that. And he doesn't really know what to do. He looked up to his father, and his father made it seemingly all the right decisions, but it's like, yeah, but it's 2018 and there's a lot of things going on in the world, and do we continue to be secret, or do we go and we help people? And that's kind of the issue that we got going on. So one of the interesting aspects of this film is T'Challa's relationship with his father and with the throne. You know, when he goes and he's buried in those like bead sand spiritual thing, and he's buried and he sees his father again. The really cool part is that his father basically asked him, like, are you not ready for the throne? And unlike a typical protagonist would be like, no dad, I'm not ready. Oh my god, my dad died, I'm so sad, and I'm like wallowing and I don't think that I'm ready. No, it's not like that at all. It's actually like quite the opposite. He's like, hell yeah, I'm ready for the throne, like let's do this. But you're my father, and I love you, and I miss you, and I'm afraid of ruining what you built and how well you took care of our country. And then he has the love of his life, who's played by Lupita, and it's like she wants to go out into the world and spread what we have, and I have all these other people around me influencing me on as to what to do. And then it has to come down to, and this is what the journey's about. He has to decide what he wants to do, and he has to decide what's best for Wakanda. He's afraid of taking away what's sacred to Wakanda, and that's one of the interesting and cool things about the beginning is we get to see all of their traditions. We get to see how he ascends to the throne, and the 5 different tribes of Wakanda. All of that is so special. And if you go out into the world and you share what you've got going on, what if the outer world comes in and tries to rob them and tries to steal what they have and ruins their traditions? Or what if they spread their culture and some of their culture is absorbed by other people, and it's not as special. I mean, it's very interesting. The more that I think about this movie, the more that I like it, because it's layered. And a lot of superhero movies, I mean, they're layered, but they're not as deep as this is. And that's what kind of makes this movie a hit, because the more you think about it, and the more you think about how this affects Black culture and African culture, the more you kind of enjoy it, which is why we do reviews, right? So we can kind of get into the nitty gritty. So T'Challa's nemesis is played by Michael B. Jordan, which is Killmonger. And so Killmonger is kind of the dichotomy of T'Challa, right? Because he, at this point, T'Challa wants to keep everything secret. He wants to keep everything close to the chest, despite what his friends are telling him. And then you have Killmonger, who comes out of nowhere, and he's like, who is this guy? And it turns out to be his cousin. And his cousin wants to do the opposite. His cousin wants to take Wakanda and show everyone that, you know what? We're not a shithole country, and our culture is not crap. We are powerful, we're smart, we're strong, and there's so many things that we're capable of doing, and you're holding us back because you're afraid to let go of traditions, or you're afraid that this special gem that you have won't be a gem forever, it'll be tarnished. And Killmonger doesn't believe in that. He believes the only way that Wakanda can excel is by going out and showing everyone that they're number one, and that they're the best in everything, and they actually have the more advanced technology. And that's like the sign of the best villain that you can get, because the best villain shows the protagonist another side of themselves that they didn't know that they needed to look at. And that's why Killmonger is such a great villain. Do I think he's the best MCU villain? No, because I have such a special place in my heart for Loki. I think Loki's just amazing, and I think it's because I have siblings and I understand that sibling rivalry that he and Thor have. But I think Killmonger comes in a close second. So yeah, I mean, I love their relationship, and it's not that I love their relationship, because obviously they don't really have one, but I love what they're fighting about and what Killmonger has to offer in the movie. So let's talk about some of the things I really liked about this movie. Number one being the actors. When I heard that they were bringing back, of course, we get Claw, we get Andy Serkis. When they kept casting all these awesome Black actors, we've got Chadwick, of course, we've got Lupita, we've got Angela Bassett. It's just so many great Black actors, and of course, they just brought it. Okay, not gonna lie, after I finished watching this movie, I looked at my hair and I was like, I could just shave it off and just kick ass. The women in this movie are so beautiful. When I watch Lupita, when I watch her in anything, I think she's gorgeous, but whenever she was on camera, I was just looking at her dreamily oh my God, she's so gorgeous. Also, can I just say how cool it was to see Andy Serkis play a human? You could tell he was enjoying the hell out of himself. He's like, I get to be on camera and not have all those little dots all over him and play, he doesn't have to play Snoke and have people complain, and he doesn't have to play Gollum and play a gorilla and all these wonderful things that he's amazing at doing. But it was just so much fun. You could tell every moment that he was the Claw, he was having a freaking blast. One other thing, and this might be blasphemy, but I actually enjoy Martin Freeman. I think his Agent Cross or something, I enjoy him more than Agent Coulson, and I know that's probably bad, but he's got a little bit more grit to him. He seems a little bit more fun than Agent Coulson. Agent Coulson always had a stick up his ass, so I was so worried that they were gonna kill him, and then they didn't, so I was very happy. What's also great is Wakanda. I mean, Wakanda looks like it's a real place, and that's hard to do when you're making up a world. A lot of times when you go into fantasy films, or I guess fiction films, and they're making up a place, it doesn't feel lived in. It feels super clean, and Wakanda feels like people have been living there for centuries. The set design's really cool. When they're in Suri's kind of cute, right? Oh, speaking of, she is awesome. Can we talk about Black Panther's sister? She's the freaking bomb. But it was so cool seeing her go through the gadgets and show him all the modern technologies. She's super smart. Black Panther, T'Challa needs Shuri. She is the shit. So I enjoyed her character very much. All of the characters were just, I mean, even though it's only one film, like, of course we met Black Panther before, but we hadn't met anyone else besides, of course, the Claw and then Martin Freeman's character. They just felt so developed, you know, and well thought out, and their choice for doing things felt well thought out. Everything about this was so layered, and so I think I really enjoyed that. All right, so let's get into some things that I didn't like. There aren't a lot of things that I did not like. But the one thing for me, and I know I might get like kind of blasted for this, but I didn't think the fighting was that great. Like, I thought, it's not that it wasn't choreographed well. Like, you know, when they went to that underground where it was kind of like a casino setting, it just felt like the fighting wasn't, you know, they weren't landing punches. It was like, you know, like, I don't know. It didn't work. It didn't work for me. I think I'm spoiled by John Wick. I love John Wick so much. And so any action film that's not on John Wick's level when it comes to fighting and sparring, it's not as good. I thought the choreography and how they moved was well, but I didn't feel like it really connected. I did like the fighting, when people would challenge T'Challa. I thought that the fighting in the water was really good. And it was cool how he had to drink the potion to take away his power, so that way you didn't have kind of a different level of fighting. And I thought that was neat. But overall, the fighting, and at the end, you know, when they're in the train part, like, I understand why they did it, because it makes sense that they wouldn't be able to kill each other because they both have Black Panther powers. So you need them to kind of lose their overall superiority in a way. But it just was too much CGI. You know, it just felt fake. And I know these are comic book films, and one of the greatest advice that I got when watching comic book movies is just to remember that it's a comic book. You know, you can kind of almost think about it as a cartoon, like not as something real. And so I'm able to digest bad CGI a little bit better. The end of Wonder Woman will not be forgiven. I'm not forgiving that much. But like some of the lines that Killmonger and T'Challa were saying to each other, I was just kind of like, this would be so much more intense if it was like hand-to-hand combat. I enjoyed their fight in the water more than I enjoyed the final scene, despite some of the great quotes, and especially when Killmonger was dying and he was like, you can throw me out to the sea where they threw my ancestors, you know, it's better to die than to live in bondage. That line was so good. And it really kind of stayed with you, besides, hey, auntie, or I guess it was hi, auntie. Anyway, but for me, those scenes were a little bit too much CGI in the way that they moved, and it like took me out of it. I was like super into it, and then I was watching it, and I'm just like, okay, can we, I don't know. It'd be nice if it was a little bit more grounded. So my overall feelings, I would absolutely recommend. I mean, this movie is great. The first 5 minutes of the movie, genuinely, guys, like, I got tears to my eyes, because yes, Blade was an amazing movie growing up, and we had Blade as our hero. And that first scene, I can't believe I was watching Blade when that came out. I was probably like 10, but I freaking love Blade, and Blade is awesome. But Blade is not a movie that's filled with black actors, which is okay, because that's not what that movie is for. That's not what that comic book is about. And not only that, Blade doesn't really portray African culture in that way, so it's different. So to have the superhero, like, I was in the first 15-20 minutes, I was waiting for like, okay, where are more of the white actors gonna come, which is terrible. I can't believe that I thought that, but I did. I was like, this is great that we're in Africa, but no way they're gonna like stay in Wakanda. And of course they moved around to different scenes, but mainly the actors were black, and it was like so cool. And I was trying to explain it to some of my white friends. Like, imagine watching a mainstream movie for the first time, and like all the actors are basically white. Like, your whole life everyone's been black or Asian or Native American or Indian or any other race that may be, and they can't really understand that. They can't fathom what that would be like. And that's what it's like for us Black people. It's just such a marvel, really. I don't mean to play on that word, but it is, just to see this happening and to see it taken seriously and to see it done and handled by a Black director and to be taken with care. It's appreciated. That's how I feel about the film. I appreciate it for what it is. Is it the best Marvel movie? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the best MCU movie. I still think I like Avengers a little bit more, but I think I would put it in my top 5. It's really good. I enjoyed it so much. It's like an experience I'll never forget. Black Panther gets a recommend from me. If I were to grade it, I would give it an A-, but overall it rocked.